Broadcasting from the greatest castle in the world, in the county of Lawrence, NCTV45.
Hello and welcome, friends, to Focus NC and Meet the Candidate. We're with Mike Dely, and Mike is candidate for Newcastle City Council. Thank you and welcome, Mike.
Thank you for having me, Angelo. Appreciate it.
And I guess, you know, and it's a little gloomy out there. We've had a little bit of rain.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have that, it kind of accentuates the positive
Yes.
of feeling that we've got some blight here. We've got some vacant houses.
Right. Yeah, the overall gray aspect. We don't have a whole lot of sunlight, geographically, in Western Pennsylvania each year. So, yeah, no, I understand that.
With these vacant houses, what seems to be first of all, I'm not recognizing a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to ask, what is our plan?
So far as I can tell, I go to council meetings and I read the newspaper and I speak to these gentlemen who are in charge of it. And realistically, it comes down to budget. It comes down to how much money they have to allocate, getting rid of these buildings. And keep in mind that there's a reason they say balance the budget. You're balancing a lot of things. You're balancing road work. You're balancing, police, fire, knocking down buildings, the whole 9 yards. I know recently they were talking with, I believe it was the National Guard, because they'll come in for a reduced amount of money and actually knock some buildings down, do some work for you, rather than paying the full amount, which can be anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 for non-commercial businesses, and then commercial larger businesses cost much, much more. No one likes looking at blighted buildings. No one. It hurts the town. It makes us look less attractive to potential people who would move in here for business. It makes us look less attractive to potential residents. It's bad all the way around. You have issues with people inhabiting the buildings.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee what they're doing other than they're not paying taxes, which is rough. So really coming back to it, it's a balancing act. What they're doing is what they're able to do, I believe. Is there room for improvement? Sure, there absolutely is. Like I said, the National Guard is a pretty good example of thinking outside the box and being creative and finding other avenues to get rid of this. And I'm sure that's not the only other avenue to explore.
Now, in that, there's very few free lunches out there.
Right, correct.
And we're in Act 47.
Yes.
It's a little ominous, and
yes, it is.
The question becomes, where are we going with this, and how do you see us manipulating our way out of this financial strait?
So the way I look at this is, imagine you were at war, okay, and you had your gun, your ammunition, and they said, all right, here's what we want you to do. We want you to get out of war, but we're going to take your gun away from you. Now get out. Figure it out. And it's rough. And the reason I say it like that, we've been in Act 47. The state, we now have to deal with Act 189, which eliminates which reduces the amount of time that a city can stay in Act 47. So what we're facing right now is a 36-month, 3-year exit strategy, which the state and the city are going to have to create so that we get out of Act 47, can stand on our own 2 feet. More importantly, don't end up in receivership, where the state sends a receiver and then we sort of lose control of the car. In my opinion, it's better to have one wheel or one hand on the wheel than having no hands on the wheel.
Yeah, there's concerns, with that budget. And how are you going to balance that? Right now, we seem to have the exit doors wide open.
Right.
And nobody knows that anybody's leaving.
Well, that's because, and again, so they haven't actually created the plan yet. So if you're looking for a plan, if you're looking for something very concrete that says, look, this is what we're going to try to do, this is why we're going to try and do it, and this is where we hope to be as far as A to B goes, that hasn't, we're not there yet. They don't have that. And it won't go into effect until January of next year, but it's coming up. If you go to I think it's newcastle.com/links, you can see the last bit of budget analysis they did, which I think was on March 8th, maybe, was the last when they sort of evaluated the city, money coming in, money going out. We had the Act 47 gentlemen at the last city council meeting. They gave us 3 positives and 3 negatives with the city, and and they talked about how we're going to be working on that plan. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer right now until that plan is actually brought to the public.
And I say that because the other thing you have to be able to do is sell your city.
Right.
Now, I see us falling a little short on that. It was brought to my attention the other day, and I did a Focus NC on it, that we were a broth and we were dedicated in 1869.
Mm-hmm.
That makes us 150 years old.
Okay.
I don't see a sign. I don't see a welcome. We're going to have Newcastle Days.
Well, so that would be being established for that long, being the county seat, our geographical location to like 376 and 80 and the whole 9 yards. These are all good things, but individually they're just ideas and concepts. Put them all together, with tax abatements and things of that nature. That all becomes a part of a larger package. Having that kind of history is a big deal. We're not a new city. We're entrenched. We've been here. Our population has been here for generations, and that really should speak volumes. But at the same time, you have to keep an eye on the past, looking to how long you've been here, an eye on the present, and an eye on the future. So it's really a third. So that is an important platform. You just have to work off of.
Well, the reason I bring it up, and try to expound on it, is right now I don't see too many city council members, at specific functions.
Okay,
and I think as that being in that position, you have to be with the public. There's a time when everybody needs to put their hat down and take a break and maybe come down for lunch or do those type of things to see who's working downtown, what's good. Sometimes conversation can educate somebody tremendously, and so that's why I brought up the 1869 150 years thing, and I just did that a little bit ago. Now, you're running for city council on the
Democratic ticket.
Yes, okay, and that's a how many year term?
4.
4-year term. Now, why don't you tell people, do you know where you are on the ballot?
I'm number 3 on the ballot.
Okay. And this was Focus NC. I hope you understand some of the things that Mike has been able to convey to you. Any closing thoughts?
We have a rough 36 months ahead of us, and the one thing that I've been telling everybody is, and no one really wants to hear this, we're not going to be able to fix all the blight. We're not going to be able to fix all the potholes. Right now, what we're fighting for is the future of the city. It's 36 months for the rest of all of our lives. So it really, right now, it is extremely important to lead with a good, strong foot and move forward and make every positive decision you can, because it matters the most right now.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Mike, for dropping by NCTV45 and meet the candidate.
Thank you, sir.
We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
In the May primary.
Yep.
And he's number 3 on the ballot, Democratic ticket. So
May 21st, get out and vote.
There you go. For Focus NC and NCTV45, this was a public affairs presentation, and I always thank you for tuning in. See you again soon.